Hello, Periscope.
Hello out there. Good morning, Periscope. Hope you guys are doing well on this Monday morning. Hello, Periscope. Good morning. For those of you that may be watching the replay, you can double tap on the screen to give me hearts and it still will count. Thank you all for joining. Those that are joining now, good morning. Thank you for the hearts already. You can go ahead. Hey, Karen, you can swipe to the right if you have an iPhone to share this broadcast. You can swipe down if you have an Android device to share this broadcast. For those that do not know me, I'm Clarissa. I'm a blogger in Memphis, Tennessee. Good morning, Larissa. Thank you guys so much for joining. Also, thank you for inviting other people. Thank you for the hearts already. Good morning. Hey, Kim. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Good morning. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I definitely did. I hope you have a wonderful holiday today if you're off work. Thank you for inviting followers. You guys are so sweet. For those that are on that do not know me, I'm Clarissa in Memphis, Tennessee, and I am a blogger as well. Fabulous weekend. Awesome, Larissa. As well as a motivational speaker. So I'm Clarissa Newsom. I look a little laid back today because it's Monday. I'm just taking the day off to enjoy. I'm grateful for Monday off. Totally understand that. So if you follow me on social media, Twitter or awesome. Hey, Aaron. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you. So yes, if you follow me on social media on Instagram or Twitter, then you already know this morning's blog topic. Does anybody know this morning's blog topic? Hey, Cherise, thank you guys for joining. And before we get into the blog topic, remember you can swipe to the right to share this broadcast if you have an iPhone, and you can swipe up to share this broadcast with your followers if you have an Android device. So thank you so much for sharing. The whole mission behind the blog is to educate, empower, and evolve. So to give you some education based on things that I've read or my personal life experiences to help you be empowered with the tools that you need to get past wherever you may be in life right now or wherever you may aspire to go in your next phase in the next phase of your life, as well as to help your thinking and your actions to evolve. So we can have all of the tools to do what we need. But if we never take that first step in the journey, then it won't happen. So evolution is the most important thing about our self-transformation. So this is a very introspective blog. So I will do intentional pauses to help you think about the question or the statement that I've just posed to you guys. So let's jump right in. Hopefully you know this morning's topic already if you follow me on social media. Again, hey, mother. So this morning's topic is, do you reflect? So there's that intentional pause. I think that's Pierre Stinson. Hey, so there's the intentional pause there. So this morning's question is, do you reflect? Do you reflect? So I'm giving you a second to think about that. Do you reflect? When was the last time that you reflected? So that's your question for this morning. Do you reflect? So if you're new to the blog, type a number 1 in the comment box and let me know you are ready for the first point for this morning. Number 1. Thank you for the heart stream. You guys are so lovely. Thank you for, and if you don't know how, you just double tap the screen to give hearts. So I see a number 1 pop up. Number one, looks like you guys are ready for number 1. And for those of you, it's your first time joining, I do give 3 points that coincide with the morning's question. So number 1, I guess you guys are ready. The most beneficial, or one of the most beneficial reasons for reflection, number 1 is that was my musical drum roll. So number 1, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I'm on point. Number 1 is to recognize. So with reflecting, through reflection, you are able to recognize what you did or how you responded or how you acted the day before. Or it could be the day of if you reflect at the end of the day. Or it could be if you're reflecting on the week, or if you're reflecting on the last month. So reflection is very important for your personal life, for your business life, for your career. It transcends all of the facets of our life. So I want you to reflect, number 1, to recognize. If you never recognize your areas of opportunity, you cannot grow. Yes, think about that. If you always think that you did everything to the best of your ability, or you were perfect, or you are always spot on, then you can't grow. So even the smartest person in the world, the most wealthiest person in the world, they still find opportunities for themselves to grow. So number one, I want you to recognize, and you guys know I like to put in thank you, I like to insert biblical scriptures where I can. So the scripture that came to mind here was out of the book of John, the 8th chapter, and the 32nd verse, and it simply reads, and you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So if you don't know the truth, how can you be free? It's in the Bible. Yes, John 8:32. I'll read it again. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So if you don't know the truth, then you can't be set free. Yes, so number one is to recognize. I'm not a preacher at all. Number one is to recognize, to understand what your areas of improvement are, your areas of opportunity, day after day or week after week or month over month. So you should be evaluating yourself even in how you deal with your relationships, your friendships, your business relationships. How did I respond to that news, or how did I respond to that information? Could you have responded in a better way, an easier way, a more Christian way? So remember, guys, always recognize. That is what reflection allows us to do. It helps us to recognize. If not, if some of you may have a problem with saying your personal flaws, so you can just say, what additional opportunities do you have? So you ready for number two? Type a number two in the comment box. So we're talking about reflection this morning for you guys that just joined us. This morning's question is, do you reflect? And we're going to number two. Thank you so much for joining. Thanks for joining, guys. So this morning, we're asking you the question, do you reflect? I'm Clarissa out of Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a blogger and motivational speaker. So we'll hop into number two. Do you reflect? So number two is improve. Yes, so number one, after you have recognized your areas of opportunity, you must put that knowledge, you must put that truth to work. So you improve. Thank you, Larissa. Yes, you improve by reflecting. If you don't reflect, then number one, you won't know the truth. You won't recognize your areas of opportunity. And number two, that next step, you won't improve. So don't take it for granted just because you know your areas of opportunity that you're actually going to do it. Because believe it or not, we all have known several things about our lives for a while, but it doesn't mean that we've taken action against it. So number two is to improve. That's right, Pierre. Thank you. Number two is to improve based on what you learn, what you recognize, those truths that you realize from number one. So you ready for number three? Type in the comment box. Number three. Okay, I see someone ready for number three. Thank you guys for joining. Thanks for joining. I see some other people getting on. So remember, if I'm saying anything that educates you, empowers you, or causes your thinking and actions to evolve, please double tap the screen to give me hearts. So looks like we're ready for number three. Number three is future. I'm late. Yes, number three is future. So the question for this morning is, do you reflect? Number one was recognize. Through reflection, you're able to recognize your areas of opportunity. Number two is to improve. After you know those areas, you can definitely take that action to improve on where you are. And number three is future. Okay, guys, so we should always be thinking futuristically. If you don't, you can become stale. You can become stagnant. You also can become, worst of all, complacent. So if you're not thinking of your future, that's a big problem, guys. Thank you for the heart flow. You guys are so sweet. Yes, that can be a huge problem if you are not thinking about your future. Okay, so I'll do my intentional pause there. So I really want you guys to be able to connect these 3 points. So number one's point, again, the question for this morning for those that just joined is, do you reflect? Number one, remember it, guys. Number one is to recognize. That's right, Pierre. Thank you. Number one is to recognize. Through reflection, you recognize. And through this recognition, guys, you have to be very authentic with yourself, have to be very honest with yourself. If you're going to lie to yourself, you will never get to the next stage. Okay. So in your reflection, try to see yourself from the other person's position. So whoever you were talking to, dealing with, working with, ask yourself, how did they perceive that statement? Or how did they perceive my actions? Or how could that have been perceived by them? Because their perception, guess what, is their reality of you. However they took it, however they view it, that is their reality. So it does not matter. Remember the blog from last week about apologizing. It does not matter what you think or you knew what your intentions were. The only thing that matters is how they received it. So in number one, in recognizing, it helps you to think through the other person's lens, not your own. So remember, guys, this is a very introspective blog. So I want you to be really, really honest with yourself, okay? And sometimes we know deep down inside, we may not admit, but sometimes if there's something just, kind of left there, it kind of keeps you wondering, or better yet, if you have, if you have a question in your mind, if you ever are left with a question, then just err to the side of caution and just go ahead and apologize or make it straight or whatever it is you have to do, okay? So number one is recognize. Number one is to recognize, understand your areas of opportunity, your areas that you can be better. So through recognition, guess what, guys? You also challenge yourself. You are pushing yourself to the limit of becoming who you want to become. It's not allowing yourself to stay where you are. So guess what? In step number one, with recognizing, you don't have pity parties with yourself when you're recognizing. You do that before reflection. Okay, so the woe is me, I'm a victim, that whole conversation, that happens before you recognize. Okay, so when you are in the recognition stage, number one of reflection, you totally have on the hat of the other person, the feelings of the other person. Okay, so that's number one. Then we move to number two, which is to improve. So now that you know your areas of opportunity, now that you know where you can be better or how someone may have mistaken what you intended, now it's your opportunity to improve. Okay, I really want that to saturate, because if you don't improve, it's no need to reflect, it's no need to recognize, because you have said to yourself, you want to stay wherever you are. And I know you don't want that because you're listening to this scope, and I don't want that for you either. So number two is to improve wherever you are. And remember, guys, this crosses the gamut. So this is improving in your relationships with your spouse, your friends, whomever, even, as a Christian, your church members or whatever. So all of those relationships, your co-workers, your next door neighbor, do you even know their name? Okay. So number two is to improve. So in improving, you have to be honest with yourself and you have to take the first step in the right direction. Yes, right. So true. Thank you, Kim, for that comment. So you have to improve in step number two. Step number three, remember, step number three was future. You have to think futuristically. If you don't think futuristically, that's my daughter in the background, guys, you become stale, you become stagnant, and you become, worst of all, complacent to your current position. Yep, that's an intentional pause. Yeah, that little hand. Number three, if you're not thinking in the future or futuristically, then you become complacent to where you are today. And we all want to look back over our lives, month over month or year over year and say, am I in a better place? Emotionally, spiritually, financially, professionally? Am I in a better place this year than I was this time last year? If the answer is no, or worse, I don't know, you need to reflect. It's the only way that we can continue to grow in every area of our life. So I'm going to go a little bit past 15 minutes today because we're all off work, so we can chat for a little bit. So, in the area of my life, again, the whole victim role, the woe is me, the pity party, that stops before you start reflection. Okay, so, just to personalize this a bit, and number one, with reflection, when you are looking to recognize, I ask myself, so we'll take it from the relationship standpoint. You guys know I'm divorced. So when I look back into my marriage and I recognize and I say, was I the best possible wife that I could be? Okay, so starting that question for myself, it's not about what he did, what he said, what he didn't do, what he, should have done. Remember, all of that stops before number one. So with number one, with me asking myself that question, it's how did he perceive my actions during the marriage? How did he perceive my responses to his questions during the marriage? How did he perceive that? Okay, so remember, I asked myself the same thing. Yes, and that's so good because, and you guys, you may say, oh, she's been divorced for 4 years. Why is she still even asking herself this question? And I'm not asking myself the question now, but I'm giving you an example because it's the only way that I can grow and become better for my next husband, right? Exactly. So number one, do I recognize my areas of opportunity, from that marriage? You just want to do it better the next time. That's right, Rachel. Absolutely. So I asked myself, what were those things that I could have done better as a wife? Again, no pity party. This is you being authentic and honest with yourself and recognizing how the other person perceived you or your actions. Number two, I asked myself, what are the areas that I can improve in for my next marriage? So, is that cooking more? Is that being more gentle? Is that being, and these are real life examples I'm giving you guys, is that being more quiet, more silent, versus always wanting to get my point across? Remember, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Maturity, there's no right or wrong. There's no winner or loser. There's no, let me get the last word. That's maturity, guys. So could I have been more mature? Yes, gentle. Could I have been more mature? Did I release things into the atmosphere that I couldn't take back? Yes. Did I release things in the atmosphere that I could not take back? Once you say something, yes, you can apologize. And yes, that helps. But does that comment ever leave that person's mind? If you've told someone that they are the scum of the earth, or let's reverse it. If someone tells you you are the scum of the earth and they apologize immediately after making that statement, will you forget that they initially told you that you were the scum of the earth? No. We're human, guys. No. They may love you and thank you for that apology. There you go. Heck no. But it never leaves their mind. So did I say, we're on step number 2. No, Karen, you're funny. So step number 2, improve. What were my, forgive, but don't forget. There you go. That's just how we are as human, guys. So even though an apology is great, an apology can bridge the gap. It can help you continue. Words really do hurt. Yes, they do. And words are long lasting, especially, in dealing with love relationships, because you're more vulnerable and you're more sensitive with love relationships. So just asking Clarissa, what were my areas of improvement? Could I have prayed more for my spouse? Did I give up? Did I say a prayer and because it didn't happen in a couple days, did I give up? Okay. So if you guys, I did a movie review on the movie, War Room. So that movie just brought back so many memories for me. And I told you guys I cried in one part of the movie, but it was an awesome movie. Really, really loved it. If you haven't seen it, today is a great day to see it because you're probably off work. But yes, did I pray for myself to condition myself, or did I pray also for my spouse? Okay. So number 2 step is, again, to improve from whatever your current position may be. Your position may be your actions, but furthermore, I want you to also improve in your thinking. When it becomes a new way of thinking for you, you become more apt to do it the right way, repetitiously. It becomes second nature. It doesn't become so hard to do. You don't have to remind yourself to do it time and time again because you are retraining your mode of thought. Yes, you are retraining your mode of thought. So step number 3, future. So when I think about the future in my previous marriage and my next marriage, I say to myself, okay, Clarissa, now that I know my areas of weakness or my areas of potential where someone can take it the wrong way. And this is really introspective for you to know yourself. So do you know your targets? Do you know your trigger points? I know a trigger point for me is like not getting instant response. Yeah, that's my trigger point. So when that happens to me, it sends my brain into another place where I assume negative things, and I want to lash out or lash back. You know, again, this is in the past, not now, because I know that point for me. So when you know and understand your trigger points, guess what? You're able to acknowledge when that feeling is coming. And when that feeling is coming, you can rechannel it, or you can become more inquisitive than assuming negative. And it can help to bridge wherever you may be at that point of time. Are we the same person? Girl, I don't know. But you know, I tell you guys the truth. So yes, that was actually a trigger point for me. So I don't know. What are your trigger points? Or what are some things? Yes, understand completely. What are some things that you know when it happens, it puts you into a negative headspace, or it sends you down a negative path and mode and thought of thinking? You don't want that, okay? So we definitely need to know and understand ourselves enough to know, again, dealing with number 3, futuristically, how do I want to change my actions in the future when I see that coming? So when I feel myself becoming negative, when I feel myself feeling sorry for myself, or about to have a pity party, or about to go in victim mode, how can I change my thought, or what can I do at that moment different from my actions than I did on yesterday, or that I did on last week, or that I did 5 years ago in my marriage? So you guys have to think futuristically. How will I be different in the future to cause me to improve on what I've recognized? So that's how it all connects together. So again, thinking futuristically, connecting 2 and 1, thinking futuristically, which was number 3, going back to number 2, causes me to improve, going back to number 1, on what I have recognized about myself. So 1 is recognized, 2 is improve, and 3 is future. So when you're at step 3, you are being intentional. That is so important. Good things don't happen haphazardly. I'll say that again. Good things do not happen haphazardly. Good things happen because we intend for them to happen. Good things happen because we plan for them to happen. Good things happen because we make them happen. So with number 3, the futuristic step, that is a very, very intentional step, because you're telling yourself, hey, I understand this is my trigger point. What will Clarissa do when that trigger point happens? Or what will Rachel do? Or whatever your name is, Kim, what will you do when that trigger point happens? Okay. Oh, I see the heart flow. Thank you guys for the heart flow. So sweet. So what will I do when those things happen to me or in my life? So again, number 3, in the future, you have to think intentional. You have to be intentional. When you see it coming, address it right then. And if you've done reflection often enough, you're very, very in tune with yourself. No one has to tell you, oh, Clarissa, I think you're getting an attitude. Or, oh, Clarissa, I think you're being in your feelings right now. Or, Clarissa, I think you're being sensitive right now. You already know it. If you are willing to be honest with yourself, that is the key, guys. You have to be honest with yourself, genuine, authentic, if you want to improve. And improvement doesn't always mean that, you know, you're the scum of the earth. You could be a good person, okay? So I'm not trying to call you guys the scum of the earth at all. But we all have room for improvement. We all have, even if you don't like the word improvement, let's use the word advancement. We all have room for advancement as you continue through life, in your relationships, your friendships, relationships with your coworkers, so on and so forth. There are areas for advancement in your life. And thinking about number 3 in the future, you should be planning to be intentional when these things come up. Okay. So thank you guys for joining. I see some people hopping on now. I'm Clarissa. I'm in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm a blogger and motivational speaker, soon to be author. And this morning's blog question was, what was the question, guys? Do you what? Reflect. Do you reflect? That was this morning's blog question. I'm on Periscope every morning, Monday through Friday at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. And if you follow me on social media, you will see the post sometime before the blog starts. So the blog for this morning was, do you reflect? Do you reflect? Thank you, Kim. That's it. Do you reflect? So I've said that 3 times. That was intentional to get it to really saturate in your brains. But the question for this morning is, do you reflect? And I want to encourage you all to reflect in every area of your life every single day. Yes, every single day. On Friday, do you remember what you did on Monday? A little bit. On Tuesday, do you remember what you did on Monday? A little bit clearer, right? So if you reflect every single day, and this does not have to be like a 2-hour exercise. It can be 30 minutes. It can be 15 minutes. You can start off with 5 minutes just to, begin to condition yourself. But ask yourself, do you reflect? How did you treat others around you? Your spouse, your friend, your inner circle, your coworkers, your church members, your business partners, your clients, if you're an entrepreneur. Ask yourself, how did you treat them the day before? So this morning's question, feel free to watch the replay. Again, double tap the screen to give me hearts. I will love you forever. So this morning's question, do you reflect? Number 1 was to recognize. Number 2, there's a little hand again. Number 2, Number 2, is to improve. Number 1 is to recognize. Number 2 is to improve. And number 3 is future. Think futuristically. And remember the scripture that I shared with you all this morning came from John, the 8th chapter in the 32nd verse. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. My daughter has my vision board behind me. It's totally random. Not sure why she's doing that. But anyway. Oh, I'll do a scope on vision boards. They're wonderful. You should look at them every single day. So anyway, do you reflect? Number 1, recognize. Number 2, improve. And number 3, future. And the scripture this morning I shared with John 8:32. And you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. If you do not know this truth, you cannot be free. So I want you guys to be free on today and to continue to improve and advance your life, your goals, your missions. She is so funny. So you guys have a wonderful holiday. Make sure, thank you, Pooh Bear, baby. Please go to my website, chickchatcc.com. Have a great day, everyone. chickchatcc.com. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Have a wonderful holiday, and we'll talk tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. See you then. Bye.